Hello, IOD community. This is part 4 of our 4-part Thanksgiving series using the IOD Oak Leaves and Acorns mold. Today, we're going to show you how to make this Thanksgiving table pumpkin, and we are using that IOD Oak Leaves and Acorns mold, as I mentioned. So go ahead and get that out, and we'll be using it with our IOD air dry clay. Go ahead and dust the cavities of the leaves that you want to use. We're using for our base layer a large leaf, and then these 2 corner leaves. It's like a medium leaf, and then one with kind of 3 sprigs off of it. And so actually, here's the easy way to say it. All 4 corner leaves are the ones that we're using for our base layer. When you use the air dry clay, you want to make sure it's in one piece. So you can see Olivia has a bit extra. If you start adding multiple pieces into one cavity, you can get more breaking. So use a big piece, push it in, and then press it out even with your thumbs and use that micro rim edge to get a nice flat back. And that's going to give you the best casting. If you have any trouble with the delicate stems, then go ahead and pop these in the freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes. Pull those out. They're going to be a lot easier to get out. And don't use too much cornstarch in the cavities. That can actually give you a muddy impression because the clay will shift too much. So once you've dusted those, just flip them over, tap them out, and that will help you get the best castings. So we're going to lay this out on our 12-inch pumpkin. We picked these up at Hobby Lobby. It's not a real pumpkin, it's fake pumpkin. And of course, you can look in the description below or the accompanying blog post for all of the items used today. And if you need any help getting your IOD supplies, go ahead and visit the ironorchiddesigns.com website and click that big red Where to Buy button up in the right-hand corner. So we're going to place these 4 leaves around kind of in a cross shape here. And Olivia is deciding to take the stem off of some of them. So just see what works best with the pumpkin you've chosen. She's tucking that in there and just kind of getting the shape pressed down because we're going to go back in with our Titebond quick and thick. So we just want the mold to have already had that nice flowy shape and be pressing really gently. You don't want to lose the details in your mold. If you press too hard, you can smush them a little bit. And if you ever mess up and squish it too much, then no problem. Just pop them back in your castings and make a new one. All right, this is already looking pretty. Now we're going to come back in and add some more leaves for some layering. You can see that Olivia is using some of the smaller leaves to just fill in that foliage and give it a nice natural look, covering up those blank spaces, and then just shifting around anything that she doesn't like. And then once you're happy with that, going to go ahead and grab that Titebond quick and thick, put those on the back of the castings. We like to use popsicle stick or sometimes your finger to just get a nice smooth surface that covers all of the back so you don't have any lifting. This Titebond quick and thick is really great. It dries pretty quickly, or at least gets tacky, so it holds your molds in place and they don't go sliding off even on curved and non-straight surfaces. So just go ahead and repeat this step for all of your leaves. Of course, since we have done this in layers, you'll need to remove the top ones and do the bottom ones first. So just work strategically and slowly so that you don't lose the composition that you've planned out. We really love the colors of this Hobby Lobby pumpkin, so we are not going to be painting our entire pumpkin. However, if you have a pumpkin that you want to paint or even add some paint inlays or stamping or even transfers to, there are so many videos and inspiration on Pinterest of others who have done it before. So go pop on over there for tons of inspiration on how you could do that. Instead, what we're going to do today is just paint the top leaves. And so it will really come together and be really beautiful and still have that natural orange at the bottom. It's going to look really natural once we add on that paint and a little bit of brown chalk paint to pop some of those details and give it some contrast. So right now, Olivia is going in with just an art brush and some soft beige paint. We're using chalk paint today. Of course, there's many different brands and types of paint, so use what you have handy or get in touch with your local stockist if you need some recommendations on that. And again, We're doing this while the molds are wet, which we often do. It helps with shrinking and cracking as it dries. So go ahead and feel free to do that. Just make sure you don't press too hard with your brush. You don't want to lose any of those details while the mold's still wet. Since we are keeping the base paint, of course we went over a little bit, so just clean that up with a baby wipe if you're a little messy like us. And once you've got that all set, you are ready for the next step. For this next step, we're going to create a 1 to 2 wash of soft brown paint. So we're using a chalk paint. So that's 1 part paint to 2 parts water. So you get a type of glaze to go over your leaves. And then we'll wipe that back with a paper towel or lint-free cloth, and you'll get an effect kind of like using dark wax. You can also use dark wax for this step, and that would work beautifully. You're just going to need to let your molds dry all the way before doing that. We didn't have time to do that today, so we opted for this wash, and it doesn't take much time to let the layer below dry, so you're ready to apply this pretty quickly. So if you're short on time like us, that's our recommendation for today. Once you've given that some time to dry and it's nice and dry, we are going to move on to the next step, which is adding some gold wax. We'll go ahead and apply that to add just a little touch of elegance, and it's really going to help it tie in with the other elements of our Thanksgiving table decor that we've made in parts 1 through 3. So we've had some soft beiges, browns, and golds. This is going to help it all relate together. So just go in and go just along the edges, add a little elegance, little pop of gold. It's really amazing how gorgeous this looks with these neutral colors. It almost looks like the leaves were meant to be there, and that was the look that we're going for. So really, in just a few, 10, 20 minutes, you could create some beautiful pumpkins for your table. And don't stop with just one. You can create lots of smaller ones to nest beside. We are, of course, going to be placing this in the wreathing base that we made for this. And it really comes together. And definitely check out the full images of the set table using all of the 4 elements that we've made in this series. Thanks so much for taking time to be part of this. We appreciate you taking time to craft and make a space for your home, and we would love to see what you've made and how you have liked and enjoyed these projects. So go ahead and leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. We will see you in the next one.